Apa khabar semua? Welcome to the Khabar Baik show where we bring you good news happening all around Malaysia, aka Khabar Baik. If you have some Khabar Baik to share, let me know in the comments or drop me a DM on Instagram, okay? Might just be on the show next week. We have a great show for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with special guest Mel Leow, internationally acclaimed leadership and life coach, to talk about his new book, Engage. But first, be sure to like and subscribe for more good news coming your way. Without further ado, let's jump right into this week's Khabar Baik. On the 8th of March 2022, PM Ismail Sabri announced that Malaysia is finally ready to fully reopen its international borders, which have remained closed for about 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic as it enters a transitional endemic phase from April 1st. Other SOPs include full capacity of events or activities involving large groups, operations of workplaces in full capacity, and no more restrictions on business operating hours. However, please still continue wearing your mask and maintain a safe physical distance. In other words, we can all go mama at 3 a.m. now to watch football. Yeah, I mean, not now, but April 1st onwards. On to some global news. 29-year-old Vanessa Vasantanadin graced the Italian runways of Milan Fashion Week 2022. According to the star, she made her modelling debut at the Kuala Lumpur Fashion Week in 2014, then later broke into the international modelling scene at the Lakme Fashion Week in India in 2016. She has also been on the runways of Beijing Fashion Week and Jakarta Fashion Week. As an advocate for inclusivity, Vanessa is also the first Malaysian Indian to be in an international campaign for world-renowned brand Sephora. Living my dream, and trust me, it was not an easy journey, she wrote in one of her posts. Vanessa, if you're watching this, I hope you know that you aren't just a model, but a role model. Anyway, speaking of role models making a change, here's a recent TikTok video that went viral, shared by netizen Muhammad Haziq, otherwise known as Dak Putih, on TikTok. He recounts how he and a colleague of his had encountered an old Indian auntie standing by the roadside, seemingly waiting for a bus or taxi to pass by chance to pick her up. And while they did initially drive past her, both men then made the abrupt decision to offer the elderly auntie a ride in their pickup truck. Eventually, they brought her to her destination before bidding her farewell. Haziq also advises those to help if they are ever in a position to do so, without needing to take into account any differences in race, religion, or beliefs. Shout out to Abang TNBs who offered the auntie a ride home. I mean, come on, did you see the auntie smile? That was priceless. Thank you, Abang, for reminding us that kindness isn't a virus. It's meant to be spread. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest for tonight is an internationally acclaimed leadership and life coach, author, speaker, and trainer. Please help me welcome Mel Leow. Mel, apa khabar?
Khabar baik. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, Mel, and I just want to say thank you so much for, making the time to be with us tonight here on the show. Before we get into your book, Engage,
Okay.
I want to talk to you about your show on LinkedIn. I think this is something that inspires me every day because it's kind of similar to what we have here. 100 master coaches. Tell us a bit about that. For those of us watching, what is a master coach? What is this MCC that we see? Yeah.
Okay, that's a fully loaded question, right? So I'll answer the master coach first, right? In this world of coaching, we get certified as a coach, and once again, congratulations to you, right? Okay, we all know that, yeah.
Thank you.
Good job. And then the next steps after that is to be part of the ICF, International Coaching Federation, and then there's this thing called the credentials, right? It's like going up the corporate ladder, lah, if you know what I mean, Malaysian style, lah, Right. So the first level after that is ACC, which is Associate Certified Coach, and then Professional Certified Coach, and then you end up at MCC, which the Chinese will say Mong Cha Cha. But anyway, MCC meaning Master Certified Coach. And that's when you have 2,500 minimum hours of coaching practice, right? Plus all the other requirements to get that level. I am one of just 1,000 plus people in the world that has this MCC. So yeah, it's a privilege to have that. Thank you.
So we call you Master Mel.
No lah. I'm just saying that it's a step, right? It's a step, like just like everything, right? We have to take a step at anything, isn't it? And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
from there we find out that hey, we're just starting out to be at that level,
Mm.
and linking that to the show, right?
Yeah.
This is that 100 master coaches when during pandemic I was like, what do I do with my time? Suddenly I've got a lot of time in my hands and I'm saying, there you go. Maybe I can start featuring some of my friends because
Mm.
every master coach has a different story, right?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So these stories are so unique to every person. And I think
Mm.
this is one way we can gather all these so-called Jedis, right, of the coaching world, right?
Yeah.
And be on a show where we can actually share with the world what it
Wow.
means to them to have reached that point. But what is that to them then after that? Is the
Mm.
continuous learning.
Like,
Some say that they have just started their journey once all over again. You know what I mean? So it's so different. And I wanted to feature like the flavors, like the variety of flavors like we have in Malaysia. I want to
mm.
feature all the different flavors of master coaches from around the world. So that's what the show is all about.
That's so good. Yeah, you guys can check it out on LinkedIn at his LinkedIn page, Mel Leow. But Mel, I do have a question. I'm curious. The name of the show, it's called 100 Master Coaches. So what number are you at? Like what happens when you hit 100?
Yeah. We're far away from that. Don't worry, right? So we are like in the midpoint. We're like 50 something. I also forgot what number we are already. So
All
halfway
right.
point right now, but it's going to reach 100. And once we reach 100, I think I'll be, wanting to take a break first. Just take a break, take a breather. And a lot of people have already asked, how come you're not on the show, man? I'm like, hey, I'm the host of the show. So obviously I'm not going to feature myself, but maybe as the 101st master coach on that show,
Yeah.
it will be a kind of like a tables turn, or Mike's turn now, being interviewed by some of the master coaches
Right.
interviewing me. So there will be a flip of that.
I'm looking
So
forward to that.
yeah.
Episode 101. Mel, you mentioned that everyone has a story, and I want to
Yeah.
talk to you about your story and your
Okay.
latest book that you published, Engage. Look
Oh,
at that.
there you go.
Look at this, guys. The color just strikes out, doesn't it? Engage.
Thank you.
Look at it. Look at the back. Look at the back. Wow, look at that handsome man.
Who's
Is
that?
this for the cover of GQ magazine or something? Like, I don't know.
Thank you. Thank
but
you so
but
much.
Mel, I've read this and I love it. For those of you who are watching, we're gonna talk more about it. And truly, if you're like me, you're looking for more in life, this is something that you should definitely check out. But Mel, I want to hear from you, Mel. What inspired this?
Well, this is my first solo book, Chris, just to let you know. I've been involved in 3 other books, three
Right.
kind of co-authors for.
Mm.
But this is, my first time around the merry-go-round as a soloist. Yeah, so it's a bit daunting, to be frank, right? Just like when I launched 100 Master Coaches, the first few episodes were very like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? It's a bit of like a fish out of water. But I really feel, Chris, the years that I've been working as a coach and the wonderful clients that I've been working with and I have the privilege to work with, they often kind of say, it's like there's a theme, a similar theme, They're very successful in their career, right?
Okay.
And then there'll be that little bits of life that they are perhaps not 100% happy with. You know what I mean? And as your listeners are listening in, they will probably say as well, if I ask the question, right, what are the areas of life that you're happy in right now? And perhaps what are the areas in your life that you're like, I wish that I could get it better, So that's what kind of triggered it. I kind of realized that people actually are not really engaged fully with their life, right? They
Wow.
live life like it is, they go through the normal, round and round and round. I call it the default mode lah, because every day seems to be like another day itself. It is the same
Yeah.
day, and then just
Yeah.
I don't say on this show, right? Because maybe it's a PG show, so but you know what I mean. Same
Go ahead.
is different
Yeah.
day. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it is a little, it is sad, right? When I see so many people who already, some of them reach the top of the pinnacle of their careers, and yet still we all have this something similar, which is there is just some areas in our life that is so not fully aligned yet. So that's where it is, the subtitle of the book is this, right? Is how to stop living life in default and start living the life you desire. Because you and I may be doing the things and going through the motion of things, right? It's like, you kind of know what you're going to do on a Saturday. You kind of know what you're going to do on a Sunday. And then Monday comes again. You kind of know what you... So if life is all that is just like that, I think it's a little boring, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then
I've read this as well. It's like
a
cycle. It's like this cycle, where we just go in, day out, and you know what's scary, Mel, is that we don't realize that we are stuck in the cycle because it keeps repeating. So what happens is it becomes a lifestyle, it becomes a norm, and you just think it is what it is,
Yeah. And Chris, just to add on what you're saying, is that sometimes all these things just make us feel a little bit comfortable as well. Because we can kind of recognize the patterns, right? And the patterns actually give us a sense of security. Come on, let's be honest about it, right? We do want a little bit of certainty in our life, right? If everything is just uncertain, it's going to be very scary. And so that is why, right, we're thinking, okay, this is the part where we should make it, kind of like this, and this is like that, and this. And sooner or later, there are a lot of parts that become just like cycles.
It
cycles.
just becomes, you just put a label on it, and you don't really do anything about it. But I want to, and you also talk about this in the book, Gallup's research, that about
29% of people in the workplace are engaged. So which means the other side of the percentage, there's this huge percentage that are disengaged in the workplace. And I think that is really scary. There are obviously some reasons why they're disengaged, right? It could be a culture thing. It could be a values misalignment, whatever that reason. But hey, it's still very scary. Imagine if this is a reflection of what life is, right?
Wow.
Oh my gosh,
like where does it end? And when we actually realize, would it be too late? You know what I mean? Would it be too late then? And guys, just to share with you, Mel has in this book there are 12 chapters, and I really like how you break it down to 12 chapters. Starting with engage your vision, engage your focus, engage your why, engage your call, engage your beliefs and attitudes, engage your now, engage your brave, engage your potential, engage your all, engage your passion, engage your growth, and engage your happy. So and each, what I like about this book, Mel, is that you also put some quotes there that makes it more visual as well, and also more inspiring. And I want to talk to you about chapter 5 for a second. You talk about this concept called the Gremlins. Now, I do, when I was younger, I do know about this movie, the Gremlins, but tell us more about this concept of Gremlins.
Yeah. Basically, the Gremlins are within each one of us, right? It's a little monster that if we continuously feed, grows inside us and takes over us. Right? It's this obviously conceptual. I'm not scaring little kids here on the show, right? Or even grown-ups. Oh no, that's a gremlin inside me. Yeah, right. It is.
It's figurative.
Yes, that's right. Please. So this actually represents all of these things, what we call the self-limiting beliefs.
Wow.
Right? If you feed these statements in your life, these narratives that you play, like I'm not good enough,
Woo.
I will achieve nothing much in my life, all those things that, yeah. Um, those are the limiting beliefs that will carry on in those different contexts in your life. You may
Mm.
even create this insecurity within you.
Wow.
Yeah, when you get into a relationship, you start demanding of those things that is
Yeah. It becomes
not
very
within
ugly
this.
because you keep feeding it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
So this is the thing that I want to point out in this chapter, right? It's about
mm.
understanding what right beliefs and attitudes that we must have so that we'll be able to, yeah, identify what those gremlins are, but then also have ways of how we can overcome it. Yeah.
Very nice. And Mel, I'm sure most of you know, I always talk about it, but I took a jump last year out of my corporate job to pursue my passion and my, what I love doing, to do it full time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, thank God, like so far so good, no regrets.
Well done. Well done.
And but you talk about this in the book a bit about how you and your family just packed up your bags and
Yeah.
went to Melbourne
Yeah.
from Malaysia,
Yeah.
with no job in hand. So tell us about that. So was that you living in default, or was that you trying to stop living in default?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, it came upon a time I was already a corporate guy. I
Yeah.
rank, I was growing in the ranks, and my last job was general manager, right? So
Okay.
I already achieved a lot of things in my life. I was in my early 30s by then, and I was rather confident. To be very frank, it wasn't like, well, I'm just going to go there and suffer. I kind of knew in my head that I would be successful in Australia.
Wow. Okay.
Call it confidence, call it whatever, right? Driven, whatever.
Optimism. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I went there, so gung ho, nothing in hand. Of course, I had my faith, right? I had my wonderful
Amen.
wife, my supportive
Yeah.
wife, but man, I don't know whether I'll do that again. Like this is really like crazy, It's like you think this is moving to Saramban. This is moving to another country, for goodness sake, right? It's like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it's the kids, and then it's like the new home, and then you've got to have cars, and then you got to have a
Yeah.
job, right? So one of the biggest challenge was this. I thought because I spoke not bad English, I can turn on my Australian an accent anytime,
Wow.
But that didn't work, bro. That didn't work. It's like they said, "Oh, you've got wonderful, Malaysian and international experience, but oh, I'm sorry, you don't have Australian experience." I'm like,
Oh
inside me, I'm
wow.
like, if you don't give me, who's gonna give me, right? So it's like I was caught in this cycle.
Wow.
And yes, I thought I was living life outside default,
Wow.
but I was still a prisoner within my own mind,
Mm.
because all those voices were always there. I'm not good enough. I can't make it. And yes, I was trying to prove something just to get there, right? But
Mm.
when I hit rejection after rejection, it's like 3 months of rejection, bro.
That's a
Man,
lot. That's a
all
lot. Yeah.
those gremlins, Chris, all those gremlins came
It's,
alive again. It's like,
it's
wow,
feed.
they had a wild time. But I'm really
But what
thank
was
God. Right?
what was
Yeah.
that trigger point, Mel? Like after, because
Yeah.
the guys, for those of you who are watching, you just need to understand some context. Mel wasn't always a coach. He was, he was a general
Yes.
manager in marketing. So now he's in Australia. He had no job, rejections
Yeah.
after 3 months. So what was that turning point or trigger point for you to actually,
Yeah, that's a very, very good one. I would love to say, like, I just saw the light and then everything was fine. But it's not the case, right? It was
yeah.
hard because I think I was stubborn to even
Mm,
hear
mm,
all these rejections. And
wow.
after a while, when I was down in my lowest point, I said, you know what? I give up now. I just give up. I think I just go back to Malaysia, like, no shame, lah. My friends would just say, "Hey, we'll come back," but I contemplated that. But something within me rose up and say, Mel, you're already here. Let's make the best of it. So, I prayed. I'll tell you the truth. I prayed. And then I heard a voice within say, get into coaching. I don't know whether you believe that, but seriously, I did not know what coaching was. I had to Google it. I had to go on to, that time in 2005, right? It's like, man, there weren't many coaching schools. Right? So I called the coaching schools, and one of them out of the 3 coaching schools that I only found, one of them called me back. And you know what, as they say, the rest is history, but that's the school that I started off. So I got myself certified. I finally got a job, right? I finally got a job as a salesperson selling water, right? And this night hustle was, I became a student again. So for 1 full year, I did this program on a phone call. They didn't have Zoom then, no Skype even. It was
you did the program on a phone?
On phone. Yeah, international calling cards. Those days you have international calling cards. You rub it, get the number, key in, call, dial up. It's a dial up system, and get into my call. So
talk about dedication, man.
Thank you very much. But it took a while.
Yeah, but look at you now. 2022 from 2005, you've come a long way. I think if you look in hindsight, you wouldn't have changed a thing. And today, you're not only just inspiring others around you, but you're also training new coaches. Like bringing new coaches up. I'm included in one of them, so I'm so grateful for that. To be able to be mentored under you as well. And I just want to ask you, Mel, who is this for, Mel? Engage.
That's a good question. I often say this, Chris, this book was written because I think there are people like me.
Wow.
There are people like me who have gone through real stuff in life, who are not going to just want to be stuck in denial and say, oh, woe is me, someone did this or onto me, so I'm stuck. I really feel that there are people in this world that just want a little bit of a showing of a light, say this way, this way, that's all, just this way. So this book acts a little bit like that. It's like that transition that you and I need, right? At that point of time of that place where we are either wanting to turn left or right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the point where this book is needed, right? When you're in a place of transition, when you feel that your life is meant for something greater, that there's just yearning inside you just don't know what, you need to just step out, right, from your comfort zone. Well, this book has been written for you because it was actually first written for me. I feel that everything that I have written here are my words. Number one, I did not use a ghostwriter to write this book at all. I wrote this book over, I think, 1.5 years, to be frank with you. And it's just like my story. I'm telling my story, my clients' successful stories, and what we've learned along the way, right? So it's very real to life, and I really hope that it will touch many out there.
Mel, I've read this, and I think one thing about having a better life is to acknowledge that there is something better out there. And after reading this, I would say that it has given me much more self-awareness. You know what I mean? Like I kind of know, like you were talking about that point of transition. But most of us may be in that point. But with when I read Engage, I just felt more aware of like what I should be doing, and what are some things that I should start considering or stop telling myself about about these little gremlins. I should stop feeding all these statements. And so thank you for that, guys. If you grab yourself a copy, you can grab it on Amazon. The link is in the description below. But Mel, I thought this would be cool since we have the author on the show. I was wondering, maybe you could read us a little bit about from the
Oh,
book.
wow. Okay. I won't read you from any chapter. I'll read you from the it's like the overview, the preface of the
Okay.
book. Okay.
Right.
I think this is powerful, right? The best thing about life is you have a choice. You can choose to stop, continue, or engage and live the life of your dreams. You can come out on the other side with greater purpose, vision, and direction. The book is written from my firsthand real experience. It's pragmatic in nature, and I've gone through it all myself. The pain, the joys, challenges, and tears. It's also based on my clients' many successes. I invite you on this exciting journey because truly all things are possible. I believe your journey is unique. And with active steps forward, I know you will begin to align the parts of your life and create your ideal destiny.
There you have it. Steps forward. Ladies and gentlemen, grab yourself a copy of Engage using the link in the bio. You can grab it on Amazon. Make sure to follow Mel on LinkedIn for his show 100 Master Coaches. And with that, thank you so much, Mel, for your time. It has truly been such an inspiring time just speaking with you. I feel so motivated right now to go and even, I don't know, like just do something, start exploring something.
Thank you, Chris. It's a pleasure being here. Continue doing what you're doing. You're touching so many lives with Khabar Baik.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time we have this week. And I just want to thank you for being part of this Khabar Baik family. And let's keep spreading good news, shall we? This is the Khabar Baik show reminding you that if you look for good news, you'll find it. Good night, everyone. See you next time.